JJ the CPA here, hope you're doing well. Let's break down the difference between PPP 1.0 and PPP 2.0. Now, make sure you're aware that today is July 31st and we are dealing with a proposed PPP 2.0, but here's what you need to know about getting ready to qualify for PPP 2.0, which is going to be more money to your pocket, even if you already got PPP 1. PPP 2, as proposed, is designed for you to get a second amount of PPP. One key difference.
Yeah. JJ, the CPA is here.
The one difference is the qualification, and that is that you have to compare. It's an either or, first quarter 2020 compared to first quarter 2019, or second quarter 2020 versus second quarter 2019. So the way you would go about it seems like an obvious, but let's just break it down. The way you'd go about it is you would add up your gross receipts for first quarter of 19 and 20, compare them, compare second quarter to second quarter of 2020 to 2019, and in essence, if you were to take 2019 amounts, first or second quarter, divide it by 2, and if the amount for first quarter or second quarter comparing is less than the amount, then you're going to qualify. This is all proposed right now, so I'll make that clear. Just a quick recap, we got PPP 1.0 versus 2.0. We have that is more. That would be a second loan, a second amount. It's all proposed, but 2.0 requires, as proposed, that first or second quarter be down more than 50% 2020 versus 2019. So that is proposed right now. So to be able to get a second loan, your gross has to be down more than 50% when comparing 2020 to 2019 first quarter. What's that look like? All right, so let's talk about this income statement, run through an example here. You would be taking your gross revenue, and for quarter one be January, February, and March. So you got 19 and you got 20. Literally, I was at a client yesterday and I just wrote it down. I don't need to have Excel. I just need to do a quick calculation here. So gross revenue here, $36,000 for this client. So you take 50% of that, it's 18 grand. You add up what was the first quarter for 2020. It is down, right? Probably March is down. Halfway through, things close down. So anyways, add those things up, and we're looking at 28,000. Well, it's not less than 50%. So this will probably be a common occurrence that first quarter 19 versus first quarter 2020 may not really achieve the 50%. So here's more probably a reality for a lot of small businesses. Again, we're taking the income statement, we're looking at gross revenues, but for second quarter it'd be April, May, June. And here might be some figures, right? 10, 13, 15, so 38,000 for 2019. Just take it times 50%, that's $19,000. So might be likely for 2020 for April, May, and June to be down, maybe some recovery in June. But in this circumstances, the gross for second quarter 2020 is 12,000. So of course it's less than 50%. So yes, they would qualify, or you would. So again, this is July 31st, all proposed. The reason that I'm glad you got till here is that I think it would be important for you to know if you're in the vicinity, but I really want you to pay attention to once it becomes law, because think of this, maybe that's not 50%. Maybe they make it a 25%, which can make a difference to you. And at the end of the day, they may not even have this qualification. The reason that I'm having my clients go through this exercise First and foremost is so that they'll ensure that they have their financials, their income statement done through June of 2020. What you want to avoid is scrambling once this becomes law and once we know what the percentage is. I do think it's highly likely that it will require some kind of qualification calculation to show that your gross revenue is down. Now, for PPP 1 and PPP 2, the application I think would be different because it probably needs to include this type of calculation, and I would assume that the calculation and the forgiveness application for PPP 2 would be different. To ensure that this actually did happen would need to be a part of the calculation. But then one of the things that's being noted, no reason to go through this aspect, but again, what's being proposed here is that it can cover other expenses beyond rent, utilities, and interest on top of the payroll. What are those expenses? Might as well wait till it becomes a law, if it even comes to fruition. But the thing to note is that it is going to be most likely available for other expenses. Will it be over 24 weeks? We don't know until it becomes a law. And will it be a 60% requirement for payroll? We don't know till it becomes law. But I will tell you this, because so much time and effort was put in, especially by the SBA, related to PPP 1 and coming up with the guidelines and the instructions and the calculations, I think it's highly probable that with PPP 2.0, if you qualified and got it, that it would be over 24 weeks. It would be a 60% requirement for payroll. And the only reason I'm saying that is that based on historically what we've dealt with in PPP 1, it makes sense they would basically go, you know what, let's just take what it is that we already had in play, and then we'll add a qualification here, which would be this. So might as well get ahead of it, get your numbers, because again, if you know these numbers, you know your business. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe, and then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. Hey, have a great one. Subscribe.